Okay. Let's go, shall we? Figure. Food.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
My bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Actually, I wonder. Cool, nothing ever still is reading.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
Alright, for this one, we're not gonna click the keypad and just let him get pissed off. You're bored? I'm sorry that you're bored.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Two, 8, 4, 5. Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Well, whoop-de-doo. Got it.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
He looks so upset. Here we go again. For like the 100th time. I don't know how many times I went down here.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
No.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. But of course, Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for. Nope. It's death for Stanley and the bucket.
Nope, it's death. Back in this hallway again.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Is he gonna say anything else after I come back here? Especially with the bucket in my hand. No, he doesn't. Okay, so we're just gonna go straight ahead, right? Done going back. Done. Just gonna keep walking. Yep. Just keep walking.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
No, I'm not. Whee! Back at this again.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
And we're back with
In
the
a
female
single
narrator.
visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
What about me? You mentioned the bucket, but what about me?
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way,
bucket's gone?
but this one stood
No!
above the rest. It was a
No!
glorious bucket to behold.
No. My fucking bucket. No. The bucket. Welcome to you. Welcomes you to the grand exhibit. Again, this will be uploaded on my channel, so you know, if anyone wants to read this and takes the time to read this, they can go ahead and pause and read it.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
My goodness. A bucket with two handles. That is a bucket with two handles. Ugh. Very interesting. More Discord pings that are really pointless. I am waiting for someone to actually respond to a message I sent them a while ago. Oh my god, it's an old bucket. Inferno bucket. Ugh, I am bad at reading. A stress bucket. Interesting. Alright, good night, Meows, if you're gonna sleep. Oh my goodness gracious. This is silly. I love it. Cave drawings with a bucket.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. Alright, just let people read this out if they want to. They can pause my video. Bucket! I got my bucket.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Okay.
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
I wonder what happens now. What does a bucket do from here? Unless that's it, we don't get like a... Okay, that's it. We don't get like a story with a bucket. Nope. Just die.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Is there anything else?
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
Yes, it was a very great venture with this bucket. To the lounge.
Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home. Here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only
It's a nice
place a
lounge,
bucket
don't get
can
me wrong.
even feel at home.
It's nice. It's a nice little place, you know, get around and chat, talk, drink some coffee, maybe watch some TV.
Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much time as it needed to be in the lounge. Clearly, the bucket and the employee lounge shared a special connection.
Yes, sirree. Anything else? Narrator. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, he has nothing else to say.
But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business.
I don't wanna.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Well, now weapons by way, not just do anything. Is he gonna say anything else? Wait, what was that say? Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion will cause of death. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift, $1,000. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift, $5,000. Ooh.
Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Yeah.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
And we answer the phone.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket.
Oh god, not this
Once
again.
upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
I don't know nothing. Okay. I played the demo. Oh, this is actually interesting. Wish you were here. Adventure, mind control facility. That's a lot of stuff there. Ooh, the bucket. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press G to take me to work with you. Okay.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Oh boy. We're doing this again, aren't we? Press T to take me back home with you. Okay.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
I don't want this to use my bucket. Press I to go back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
No.
Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
It's not just liquid you can transfer. You can transfer a lot of stuff in a bucket, Chad. Liquid, solid, like sand, pebbles and rocks, probably. You can put a lot of stuff in a bucket, not just water. Be creative. Don't listen to the loud man. Don't listen to the narrator. Okay. Press V for us to go back home. Alright. I'm not listening to your narrator.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Hey, don't insult my bucket. Press I to ignore anyone in your life except for me. Okay.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
My bucket. You believe me I'm real? Don't you, Stanley? Press R to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid.
Wait, what?
Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
This is getting a bit odd. Why is he saying a little more interesting things about the bucket than just it being just a regular bucket? Press B to review this same day over and over and over and over. Wait, I read that wrong. Press B to relive this same day with me over and over. Okay. Ugh, I'm bad reading, guys.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Because it's not a regular bucket. Press M to go home to work. English. Ugh, my God. Press M to go home, to work to home, to work to home. Oh, okay, that's just repeating itself over and over.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Why is the bucket? I think it was 7. Oh my. Hi. So did you do all this for me for tonight? Are we gonna get freaky with the bucket? And why does the narrator want to get freaky with it too? Apparently.
Stanley, give me the bucket.
No.
Give it to me.
No.
Give me the bucket,
No,
Stanley.
it's my bucket.
I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
is over. Go back to work, Stanley. Okay, Bucket. That was interesting.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Ooh, my fingers are still cold, chat.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
No.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Oh, there's another ending there. Oh, the bucket.
The good old bucket.
Almost forget my
Just
bucket.
Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yeah. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here,
said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke.
Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing?
Oh my goodness.
What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny now.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
What is this? A Super Earth ad?
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Alright, so comedic deliveries, alright. Let's see what this is all about. And they put the safety rails, of course.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now? Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Well, back to the room, I guess.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
I guess we'll follow along.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud? Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Is it going to do the thing again?
No.
Yep.
You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back. Here we go. You ready?
Yep.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my...
Oh.
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley.
Oh, he's saying jokes.
I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal, I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos.
No.
Let's see.
At least it wasn't a depressing version. Oh my god. He has so many. Why is there so many papers? We'll figure that out next time, because I think I'm done for today. I think we've done enough for the Stanley Parable. Yeah, so we're done here, chat. I hope you guys did enjoy. Chat, thank you for sticking around. And for the people who are watching on YouTube, drop a like, leave a comment. And tell me if there's any other endings I'm probably missing, because I know there's probably way more endings out there. So yeah, this is Chief. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace, everyone, and goodbye. Oh, I know this is very late. I was like 9 days late, but Happy New Year to all of you. I hope 2025 will be a good year. Stay strong and positive, and love you all. Take care, y'all. Goodbye.